Hello, welcome once again to my book loving channel here. And today I'm going to be doing a book haul, and I'm going to be starting out with some graphic novels sent by the wonderful Dan at Out of the Panel Comics. The first being Avengers Extinction, which was written by Jeff Loeb, who, if you're familiar with comic books, Jeff Loeb is a mastermind. The other is Onslaught Reborn, Onslaught being a big thing from the 90s and stuff. This one was also written by Loeb and also Rob Liefeld, who is notorious in the 90s as well for a very certain style. Kind of the perfect team if you want to bring Onslaught. And the last one is The Amazing Spider-Man Human Torch, which is Dan Slott and Ty Templeton. Dan Slott, his run on Spider-Man is well regarded and with good reason. Honestly, I loved his run on Spider-Man. So these stories are a collection of Spider-Man and the Human Torch. This is the one I'll be starting with. I've read the first book in the graphic novel, so I'll eventually read it. But it's interesting that Dan did send me in threes. I don't know if he's aware of the fact that I like to always buy my books in three. So, or if it was just a really, really fun coincidence, but it's perfect timing since I set my reading goal for 67 books this year. And this way, if I struggle a little bit, I have some new graphic novels to help me out there. The next group of books I picked up at an ARC thrift store here. And the first one is Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. And honestly, I just liked the title of Geek Love. And it's just reading it, it sounded interesting. So I picked it up, and then someone I follow on Instagram recently read it, and she loved it as well. So I'm feeling lucky about that. That'll be in my to read pile here soon. Then Zone One by Colson Whitehead. I've read Colson Whitehead's Harlem Shuffle for book club. I really liked that, so I'm excited to eventually get to that. And the last I picked up from Arc Thrift Store is World Gone by Dennis Lehane. And I don't read hardcover, but when you get a first edition for $2, and I only buy first editions of authors I love. I've read everything by Dennis Lehane, most of them multiple times. So I was really happy to pick up this. I enjoyed World Gone By when I read it. I have it in trade paperback on one of the shelves behind me. So I was excited to get it in first edition to add to my growing collection of first editions of authors I love, which I grown a little bit saying that because I'm not a collector of books, just have books. I buy books to read books. So, but I just couldn't pass it. And before I get into my last set of three books here, if you can like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, that would be wonderful. Uh, the next one, the group was from Hooked on Books here in Colorado Springs, and this first book is The Last Report on the Miracle at Little No Horse by Louisa Erdrich, who is one of the best living American authors there are. I mean, honestly, one of the best American authors, period. But the fact that she's living, I guess, is a thing too. Um, I've read Love Medicine and Pinko Palace by her, and I was excited to see this National Book Award finalist. I was trying to read in chronological order of the when they're written, but being able to pick this up used, I just couldn't help myself. There's like 6 different copies of Love Medicine and 2 of Bingo Palace. This was the only other one that wasn't one of the 2 of them. So I was happy to scoop that up on my impromptu trip to Hooked on Books. The next one I picked up that day is another Dennis Lehane. This one, A Drink Before the War, which is the first book in the Pat Kenzie series. And I was really happy to pick it up. I mean, first off, after the release of the movie Shutter Island, they started re-releasing the Dennis Lehane books in trade paperback, which is my preferred reading style. So I knew one day I was going to go back and get the trade paperbacks and replace my mass markets. And many years ago in 2 states, I'd let someone borrow the first 2 books in the Kenzie series. So being able to pick up the first one in the form I'd like it is just great because I'd recently reread all the others. So glad to add a drink before the war so I can reread that again. And last one I picked up, I was really happy to see, and it's volume 5 of Saga, which if you're a graphic novel fan, I'm sure you're familiar with Saga. Beautifully written by Brian K. Vaughan, beautifully illustrated by Fiona Staples. I had 1 through 4, and then a used store years ago, I saw 7. Knowing I would go back eventually and buy 5 and 6, I couldn't help but pick up 7 used. I think I got it like for $4 at that time. So it was a really great pickup at the time, but like I couldn't read it until I read 5 and 6. So having 5 now, I just need to stumble across 6. Of course, that's not the end of the 7's not the end of the series, so I'll eventually have to get them all, but it'll be nice to eventually complete the entire graphic novel. I could order them all right now, or I'm sure one of my local comic stores has them all in stock because Saga is just amazing. But running them across them used in the wild is always really, really great because love to support local stores, love to support used stores. And special thanks to my mother, who has been insistent on helping me out while I'm dealing with some medical stuff. So I think all in all, I probably only spent $10 on the 6 books I purchased, and Dan sent me the 3 because just a wonderful, wonderful guy. But even the fact that she's able to give that little bit to me while I'm in recovering and looking for something new to do for work, it's just wonderfully kind of her. And also big thanks to Dan and Out of Comic called Penis. I'll of course have a link in the description for this video for them. Check out Dan and his stuff. He's one of the best people I've ever met. And of course, I'll also have a link to my socials if you'd like to follow me anywhere. Twitter, Storygraph, Instagram. All right, folks, until next time, thank you.